Here we are. This man's work must be recognized for what it is. And that is simply amazing. As Bill Donahue was introduced to me in 2013, after being involved in the Kate of Gaia show. And he really opened up my eyes to the mysteries and the double meanings of the words hidden in plain sight within the Bible stories. This opened up my mind to a whole new world of duality. He showed us the way to read the scriptures in allegory, and not the literal word, as he explains the missing link, hidden in plain sight, through the words of Jesus. Bill shines a new light on the stories related to you, and your journey inward to find your heaven on earth. Please look through Bill Donahue's HiddenMeanings.com website, and his YouTube channel featuring many eye-opening videos. Please support and share, but most of all learning. Enjoy. His links listed below.
But to covet your neighbor's house is to operate your life dwelling in the carnal mind. You can't do that. It's dangerous. It's destructive. You've got to cast yourself into that sea of forgetfulness in meditation and allow that sea to take you to the island where God dwells. To covet your neighbor's wife is to live out of your emotions. To covet your neighbor's house is to live out of your carnal mind. To covet your neighbor's wife is to live out of your emotions. To covet the manservant is to depend on the service of the lower mind. To covet the maidservant is to depend on the service of the lower emotions. The power of the mind is the ox. The ass is the stubborn nature of the mind. You can't have all of that stuff. In spirit, the ox is sacrificed. What happens to the ass? The ass is taken by the Christ, who sits upon his stubborn nature and steers him into the holy city of New Jerusalem. We sacrifice the ox, which is our power, and we sacrifice our stubborn emotional nature, and the Christ mounts upon us and takes us into the holy city of New Jerusalem. And as the Apostle Paul said, Jerusalem which is above is free and is the mother of us all. Honor your father and your mother. So, real quick, the Ten Commandments. I am means the single I. Jesus said, if your eye be single, your body will fill with light. God is light. Okay? I am is the single I. The word am is not a word. It is present tense singular. It means the single eye. And Jesus told you that if your eye be single, your body will fill with light. If your eye be single, you'll stimulate the pineal gland. Your body will fill with melatonin, which is a skin lightener. The prophecy is fulfilled. There would be no strange gods before me. The strange god you put before God is called religion. Religion. You have dwelled on a god whose idea was to get a little girl pregnant so he could come down here and kill himself. And the reason he had to kill himself was because he was not capable of forgiving you without human blood flowing. That's blasphemy. That's the strange God that you decided to put in front of God. Okay? Take not the way of the Lord in vain. Make not the inner way of no value. And many of us do that. Believe me. We don't have time for it. Everything in this world is too important. If I could come to your house and get on my knees and beg you to wake up to what's going on right now, I would do it. But I can't. And that's not fair anyhow, because I don't interfere in what you do, and I don't single out anybody. When I speak to the ceiling. I just beg of you to please understand. Read the headlines. Understand. Wake up and understand what's coming. The bridegroom is coming. Don't stay away from this thing. Make the oil flow in your lamp. Please. Remember the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the seventh. It is the point of the seventh chakra. And when you remember the seventh, you'll elevate your energy, and that which is the orgastic fluids will rise through the spine and impact at the pineal gland of the brain. Remember the seventh. The seventh is the Sabbath. Honor your father and your mother. Your father and your mother are your mind and your spirit. You honor your father by lifting your mind. You honor your mother by lifting your spirit. You lift them both in meditation. Do not kill. Do not kill the soul, either yours or anybody else's. And you kill the soul by not feeding it. You kill the soul by not exercising it. You kill the soul by neglecting it. You see those things out there on the thing from the shelter and the animal agency, millions of dogs die. Animals die because they're neglected. They starve to death. You kill the soul by starving it to death. You shall not commit adultery. You do not intercourse in spiritual things with your lower emotions. You do not intercourse with the wicked woman, the strange woman who lives downstairs. You intercourse with the bride, the bridegroom, the Holy One, the Spirit who dwells in the right side. You are married to the bridegroom. Your intercourse must be at the right side. You cannot intercourse here because when you're intercourse, and I don't mean you don't use your mind. I don't mean you don't use your mind to work or do whatever you want to do or have fun or listen to records and all that. You use your mind. But in things of God, then you are committing adultery. You intercourse here with God and the right side. You shall not steal. You shall not steal, and you shall not steal from yourself or for anybody else, and you steal by taking away the key. You take away the key from yourself when you do not enter within meditation. You're stealing from yourself. You take away the key from somebody else when you don't tell them about meditation or you try to talk them out of it. You are stealing, and thou shalt not steal. Jesus Christ in Luke 11:52 says you take away the key of knowledge because you don't enter within yourself, and those that are trying to enter in, you hinder. You're stealing. Thou shalt not steal. Do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Tell the truth about your neighbor on the right, the divine nirvana. Also tell the truth about your neighbor on the left, emotional religion. And do not desire, do not have a desire for the things which are the left side, which is the carnal side. Desire those things which are the right side of the spiritual side. In these commandments, you will find the movement of the planets. In these commandments, you will find the movement of the cosmic energies that bring creative consciousness into harmony with universal law. Amen. Exodus chapter 13. And look at the last line. It says, Moses, you know, when I ask me, what's God's name, what am I going to say? Look what it says. And God said, you say, I am that I am. And say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent you. I am. Now, watch this very carefully. And this is very important. This word am is not a word. Am is the present tense. Okay? It is the present tense, and it is the first person singular. Thank you, teacher. Singular. What is it? Now listen to me very carefully. What has just been told to you? Who is God? I. I. The present I. The first person, the single I. Who is God? I am. You're a teacher. You're the teacher. Am I right that this is the singular, first person? Then God is the single I. Thank you. Now, that's just the beginning. We haven't even started. Now, why is that important? I want you to go to page 781 and look at Matthew chapter 6. Look what we've covered in the first 2 minutes of this. God is the single I. The present tense, I am is the single I is God. And look what it says in Matthew chapter 6 on page 781, Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. Therefore the light of the body is I. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall fill with light. It's a single eye. Now, what's interesting about this? The ancient people knew the single eye, I am, the single eye, to be the pineal gland of the brain. This isn't hocus pocus. It's not make-believe. This is a scientific fact. This pineal gland of the brain was known by the ancient people thousands of years ago. And what have we just found out in Newsweek magazine? The pineal gland of the brain secretes this hormone called melatonin, which they feel will retard the aging process, which they feel can heal cancer, can prevent breast cancer, do all of these things. There's 3 pages in Newsweek magazine. It's on the radios all over the place. There's something that just came in the New York Times. It says, health food stores all over the world are sold out of melatonin. And what is melatonin? Melatonin, among the other things, is a skin lightener. It lightens the skin. And Jesus just said, if your eye be single, your body will fill with words, if you start to pay attention to yourself and turn your gaze away from religion and turn your gaze away from religious teachers and turn your gaze away from books and instructions and start to look at the I am, the me, the single eye within you, the pineal gland of the brain. Now let me show you something. Go to page 28 in the Bible and look at Genesis chapter 32. Page 28. Genesis chapter 32. And look at verse 30. Jacob sees God face to face. And look what it says. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face. There it is. I don't know if Joan has any of those Newsweek articles with her. If any of you want them, you can see them, but it's in Newsweek and so forth and so on. The I am. Who is talking? I am. See, the point is this. The wars, the hate, the guilt, the fear, all of the things that have hurt people, all of the things that have hurt children, all of the things that have hurt the animals, all of the things that have hurt nature, all of the things that have separated have come from where? The minds of men and women all over the world. And they've come from within. If people thought differently, those things wouldn't happen. So the destruction does not come from some osmosis outside. The destruction does not come from some river. It doesn't come from some star. It comes from the minds of people. It comes from the way we think. If there is a war inside of your head, there's a war inside of your house. That's the way it is. You know what Buddha said? Buddha said all the terrible storms that you see are caused by the negative vibrations of millions of people going into the atmosphere. And who's to say is wrong? The negative vibrations cause war. Did you ever walk into your house and put off some bad vibes? Or did you ever go into a place and feel some bad vibes? You can feel it. You can sense it. And so who's talking? There is something talking to you right this minute inside of you saying, hey, I am. Look inside of yourself. Stop looking at the paper. Stop looking at the TV. Look inside and guess who's there?